Hi everyone, I'm Mohan, and here with us today is the 2016 Kawasaki ZX-10R, and we also have with us the 2015 model for comparison. Now, the Kawasaki ZX-10R for 2016 has seen a host of improvements, with a lot of technology being taken off the Kawasaki H2 and H2R hyperbikes. A lot of it is trickle-down technology, the electronics, the engine controls. But one of the key points everyone will want to know about is the horsepower. In standard form, the ZX-10R puts out 197 horses, which goes up to 204 with ram air. Torque is 113.5 Newton meters, which is more than adequate driving the 6-speed gearbox. Now, come with us as we take you through a whole host of changes that's been made to the Kawasaki ZX-10R for 2016. Not a single bolt has been left untouched, according to Kawasaki, with the whole bike being optimized for racing. Now, this is very special because this bike was developed in conjunction with the Kawasaki racing team for Superbikes, with a lot of input from Jonathan Rea, last year's World Superbike champion. Now, from the front, what we can see is the fairing has been enlarged for 2016. It's a lot wider, providing more protection for the rider at high speed, but they've also included two little cutouts here which relieve the pressure behind the bubble so that the rider isn't pushed forward as much when riding. As we come downwards, we see the bigger air intake, very slightly bigger, as well as the little downforce wings here. Now, how effective they are, we don't know, but obviously Kawasaki's put this bike through a wind tunnel, and it has to work, otherwise they wouldn't include it. The intake itself is bigger from the 2015 ZX-10R, all the better width to swallow small children and animals. The DRL is carried over from 2015, it's slightly wider with the standard halogen low and highlights. Now, as we come around the front, tire sizes have changed the same, have remained the same, but the biggest change has been to the front end, where we have the Showa BFF front fork, which stands for balance free, and the bigger disc, which is now 330 mm. compared to the previous models, 320 mm compared to the previous models 300, and the Brembo M50 monoblock brakes taken straight off the H2 and H2R. Now, we had the chance to ride the ZX-10R at Sepang recently, and we can tell you for a fact the front end is very planted as it goes through the corners now. This is simply due to the change in the frame configuration, where the biggest change is, number one, the swing arm has been lengthened by 15.4 mm, and this will place more weight forward on the front wheel. So what will happen is, with the stretched wheelbase now, the bike's a lot more stable through corners, but the rider's weight and the center of gravity is pushed forward. Also, to help that, what Kawasaki has done is they've steepened the steering angle and brought the handlebars back. So there is now a shorter reach to the bars compared to the 2015 model. Again, this is all in an effort to place more weight on the front wheel to aid cornering. As you look at the front end, you have the titanium headers for the exhaust. So the bike does come standard with titanium now, and all you have to do is basically just put on a titanium end can. Within the engine, there have been changes made to the engine, where the crank has now been lightened by 20%. This allows the engine to spin up faster as well as slow down faster. There's also changes being made to the clutch, which now has a thinner basket and plate, so it's a lot lighter. Again, the engine builds up speed quicker. As we come around the back, we can have a look at the swing arm, with of course the rear ABS on the back brake. Gone are the wavy rotors from the 2015 model, where apparently the change was made simply in the interest of heat dissipation. Rear tire sizes remain the same, and the bike comes standard with the Bridgestone RS10 tire. Now, this is a multifunction sports performance tire, as Bridgestone calls it, a racing street tire. And what happens is you can use this tire in almost any road condition without having to use tire warmers. As we come up around the back, the rear cluster and tail has now been redesigned. It's a lot more angular. The turn signals have been separated out, and the rear light cluster, driven by LEDs, takes a nice little upside down T shape. So we come around to the left side. As you can see, the swing arm is now lengthened to the rear axle, and again stiffer and more stable. The rear shock, which you can't really show you a lot of, is called the BFRC. The RC standing for our rear cushion, and the BF balance free. Now the rear shock is fully adjustable. You have preload, compression and damping. You can even adjust the spring rates. So what happens is, as we tested this bike in Sepang 2 weeks ago, we found that cornering stability was very, very good. There was no hint of wallow or weave, and it was certainly very confidence inspiring. Down to the gear shift, the 2016 ZX-10R now comes with a quick shifter, again taken off the H2, but unlike the H2, this is for upshift only. The rider has the ability, of course, to set the shift points, meaning you can have it at 14, 13, 12,000, however you want to change gears, at whatever point you want to change gears at. One thing you will notice is that the rear pegs have now moved a lot closer to the seat. It's a little bit tight if you're long of leg, but nothing that we would call uncomfortable for short distances. You wouldn't want to take this bike long distance, that's for sure. So, coming up to the instrument cluster, what we have now is handlebars that are set very, very low, very, very racing position now. You can see the Brembo master cylinder, and this is an electronic steering damper. Now, at 0 speed or walking speed, the steering damper friction is set to 0, meaning the handlebars are free to turn. This makes the steering very, very light at low speed. As you speed up and you change through the gears, the steering damper will stiffen up and make the bike very, very stable. So let's turn on the bike. Now the cluster lights up, and you have the usual readouts. There's no fuel gauge, so pay attention to your odometer. Okay. You have here the controls for the selection of the ride modes and all your instrument cluster controls. There's also a little built-in lap timer, good for those track day heroes and racers. And one thing we can't show you, unfortunately, because the bike's not moving, but the instrument cluster has a little eco mode readout. Now, it's really funny because this being a full-on race bike, I have no idea why Kawasaki included an eco mode, because I don't think this bike is going to be spending a lot of time at low speed. Speaking of speed, as we've heard, the speed is limited to 299 kilometers an hour. Now, we don't know yet. We've just gotten this bike. We'll be taking it for a proper road review tomorrow. However, a lot of the electronics in the bike again trickle down from the H2. You have the IMU, inertial measurement unit, which records movement in 5 axes and calculates a 6th. And what the IMU does is it controls the engine, it controls the braking, so that number one, you don't ever lose it in a corner. Number two, you can brake in a corner without losing traction and without the bike standing up. Now, this is an advantage in racing because you can brake very, very late into a corner and the bike won't go up and make you lose time. Now, to help in that regard, Kawasaki also has the exhaust braking. You can control the exhaust braking by switching it on or off. Now, if the exhaust braking is on, the bike behaves normally. The engine behaves normally. As you slow down through the gears, you can feel the engine braking the bike. When you switch it off, effectively it decouples the engine from the rear tire. Now, this means that the bike will freewheel. Even though you're changing gears, you're dropping gears, you're expecting the engine to bog down with the engine braking, and it doesn't do that. So this is a very, very clever bit of racing tech that allows a rider to brake very, very late into a corner, drop gears as how he likes without having the bike slow down unduly. So let's have a listen to how it sounds. if it had a race bike, which is what this bike is designed to do. It is a race bike, okay? Make no bones about it. Kawasaki is very serious about the SBK efforts. They don't want to waste time modifying a bike for the track. They don't want to waste time developing components for the track. So what they have is they've basically made a race bike right out of the box. I would not recommend this bike for newbies, okay? This bike will bite, despite all the traction control, the riding modes, the ABS. This bike will bite, okay? Bear that in mind. So if you're a newbie, apply elsewhere. This is not the bike for you. But if you're a track day hero, you like riding fast, you appreciate the handling of a motorcycle, this might be the one you want. So for 2016, Kawasaki has said that the ZX-10R will retail for 104,000 ringgit approximately. Now this is a lot of money for the tech. You're talking about the IMU, you're talking about the ABS, cornering ABS, engine braking, traction control, you're talking about the launch control, anti-wheelie. You've got it all on this bike, okay? They've really brought this bike straight up for the future. It's a giant leap forward from the 2015 bike, which was no slouch in itself, okay? Don't forget, Jonathan Rea won the SBK with a bike a lot like this, but of course heavily modified. So if you're in the market for a super bike, a true super bike, give the ZX-10R a thought. Simply because, as we said earlier, it's a lot of bike for the money. We tested it in Sepang. The handling was quite confidence inspiring, and you do get it in, of course, in the Kawasaki racing team colors, which are green and black. Our test model here on display is the winter test, which Kawasaki Malaysia is bringing in limited quantities. So if you're looking at what may possibly be the latest and the greatest, and if you want a bike that's not far off Kawasaki's SBK bike from the Kawasaki racing team, this would be it. I'm Mohan, speaking for paultan.org. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon.
Start again. Start the engine again.